3 years.
This is as big as the win that when they won 2 years ago. And remember when they went for two? And like
that was a Thursday night game when
yeah
was still on the team. So that's like since then, that's probably the biggest win, on the road, prime time against the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl last year, and they're talking about how the Chiefs, they never lose 2 in a row, right?
Yeah.
And I will say, man, in that first quarter, the
wait, Willie, save it for when we're recording.
Oh, okay.
Willie, I couldn't wait to record this week's show to talk to you about this Charger game, dude. That was a huge, huge win. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm still speechless. I'm still shaking. What was your biggest takeaway from the game right here?
Well, number one, that they were able to win on the road against one of the elite teams in the NFL, against one of the best quarterbacks who's been playing for the last few seasons. The fact that they, again, shot themselves in the foot on those dang motion penalties, and they still able, they took another touchdown away, I think, but they still able to overcome all that.
That happened twice today and once last week. Like, I don't know what they're doing, if they're too excited, and then they had the false start penalty, and they were doing so good. That first touchdown that got called back for the illegal shift, that was their first penalty coming right into the half, and it almost seems like it was just really hard to overcome that. One of the things I really was stoked about is that we were going for it on 4th down. We got the 4th and 4, and then threw a touchdown to Mike Williams. And then that 4th and 9 play after false starting, 4th and 4 looks really good. 4th and 9, all of a sudden, I'm really glad we didn't kick that field goal there. And all of a sudden, we go get that.
You mean we didn't try to kick a field goal there because there's no guarantee that Vizcaino guy was going to make the field goal today.
Well, he missed the PAT right there at the end. Like
twice, he missed 2. I think the Chargers should just go for 2 points from here on in.
We're cursed.
Exactly. I mean, they do pretty good. Yeah, that was an awesome win for the Chargers. There was against a division foe, and they haven't won too many division games at all, in the last couple of seasons. So that was really big. And so I'm really happy. The defense, they gave up a lot of yards, but then they would make these, turnovers. That interception by Samuel in the first quarter that killed the Chiefs' first drive, that was really, really a good interception.
Are we going to need 4 turnovers every game to beat them? I mean, that's kind of what anyone countering us being excited about this, if anyone wants to say, oh, that was a fluke or because I'm saying Chargers are for real. We've been watching this come to here, but we needed 4 turnovers and we still barely won. I mean, it can't be that hard every time, right?
I was discouraged by their running in the first part of the game. They couldn't do anything trying to run the ball. But then in the last quarter, especially on that last drive, they really, really turned it on. Eckler was getting 10-yard, rushes for first downs. So that was cool that he came around. And of course, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, those guys are awesome.
Dude, Williams blew up today.
I think those 2 receivers are probably the 2 best receivers in the league. Yeah,
really?
I think so, man.
I mean, after today, you could make a case. You got DK and Lockett in Seattle. You got Evans and Antonio Brown and Godwin over for the Buccaneers. Those are some pretty good duos and tandems too.
Yeah, especially since our tight end pretty much disappeared today, and Hardy targeted, and when he did, Cook wasn't. They didn't catch him, so it was all on the wideouts, and they were pretty much coming through. I mean, that one 4th down play that you're talking about where Allen put the juke on that dude. And Tony Romo called it. He said, all he has to do is just throw it out there, Allen. He'll put the juke on him and get 10 yards. That's exactly what he did.
We're throwing with confidence. We're calling plays with confidence. I'm so excited. Mike Williams, I'm just looking up the stat line. I knew he had 7 or 8 catches, but 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's capable of having those games, and he was a big player. And 2 years ago, when we beat the Chiefs on that Thursday night game, which was like the last huge win that I can remember for the Chargers. I remember still watching that game and watching Mike Williams catch that 2-point conversion to win. Willie,
that was when Rivers was still on their team. That's probably the biggest win that they had up until at least what happened today. So that was, I think, a great win. It would have been a really deflating game to lose, given that they're so bad in these, one possession games. But they're able to, at least for this Sunday, put that to a halt. So all in all, it's pretty good. The other thing, they had a lot of penalties, but I don't remember them turning the ball over, right? And no interceptions, no fumbles.
Yeah, Herbert didn't have any interceptions, and that's a good segue because as happy as I am, I'm also very upset. We already talked about the kicking errors, right? The line penalties and the illegal shifts, but the most glaring issue to me was, and you could hear Tony Romo just calling it, and he didn't need to. I'm sitting there going, why the heck did they just score with 32 seconds left? You're right there on the 1-yard line to either kick the field goal or, which we know is not a guarantee, but I mean, come on, that's a better option than giving Patrick Mahomes 32 seconds. Any other team, I wouldn't even be worried, man, but these guys can score in one play. I don't know how to stop them. I was literally scared with 5 seconds left that he's gonna get a PI call on the 1-yard line and go get it, and then make what do we do about that?
I thought Romo kind of overanalyzed that. For me, I'm just happy they got a touchdown. Period. I mean, scoring a touchdown isn't easy. All this talk about and having them call a timeout, then we go for it where Mahomes doesn't have any time left. I'm just thinking, let's just go for it and score a touchdown while we have a chance and worry about the last 32 seconds or whatever later on. Didn't help that Vizcaino missed the extra point too. So like you said, if they would have scored a touchdown, maybe that's probably would have lost the game. So, but yeah,
and that's a good point, because the drive before we settled for the field goal when we were on the 1, trying to do the same thing. We're like, oh snap, too much time on the clock, 4 minutes, and we're on the 1-yard line, and then we can't score. I don't know how to feel, man. I was like watching Red Zone, but I watched this game every single play, and I mean, it was big time.
I thought that Joey Bosa played good too. He didn't even practice all week, and early in the game he tweaked his ankle again, but he was putting pressure on Mahomes. Mahomes having to throw the ball sooner than he wanted to. And then he did have at least that 1 sack. So him and I think Derwin James did a pretty good job on old Kelsey. Kelsey had some big plays, and Tyreek Hill, I don't remember him making any big plays today. So they played Tyreek Hill perfect.
I don't know what happened after that. I guess after his fumble, that was a weird play, but the defense, you said Bosa, the sack, but he also got 2 QB hits. He's in on a few tackles. And what I noticed, Derwin James, I'm thinking, oh, great, this guy's out again with another shoulder injury this time. He was out most of the last 2 years. But then he comes back in, and he actually made a big play, I think, when he whacked Travis Kelce really hard in the back, and he dropped one of the first down attempts.
Yeah, so we had to not get injured. And, Bosa banged up. And then I was kind of scared there for a second when Herbert banged his throwing hand on that dude's helmet. And they showed the replay. Oh, no, that's all we need.
Exactly.
But then he comes back and I don't think he even had any incompletions after that. He was really throwing the ball well. And he was putting the ball right on the money. I mean, he's got – I think the only thing, like maybe Romo called it, he might have thrown it to Williams a couple of times. It was really hard passes to try.
He'll learn from that. That's correctable. That's just like he's in the moment. He's just got to make that play right then. Just maybe just a little hard. I thought the same thing there. I think he had 9 completions at one point. They were saying last week he did 16. I think he's really accurate.
His completion percentage is really high. And the big thing, of course, no interceptions today. So that's good. So who do we get next week? I don't know, the Ravens or the Patriots.
Yeah,
let's
look at that. Hold on, I'll pull it up right here. It's part of the fun, just kind of recapping. I mean, I'm watching highlights kind of as we talk here, and I'm like, there are other cool games too that we'll talk about on this week's episode. but
How
I'm
huge that Herbert
still
guy.
giddy.
That girl looks like a midget standing next to him.
Oh,
Gigantic.
Willie, we got the Raiders on Monday night, so we'll definitely have to do another post game like this after another big inter division matchup with the Raiders. I bet you they're gonna win today against the Tua against the Dolphins who don't have Tua, so they could be 3-0 going against us next week. So this could be a huge game early in the season for us.
I think the Broncos have a really easy game at home today too. I forget who they're.
Yeah. They had the Jets and the Giants, right? Or they had the Jets today.
So today the Jets. They already played the Giants. They played Jacksonville. So they played some real powerhouse teams. But they'll be 3-0.
They'll be 3-0, like you said, and it's just going to be a matter of,
until they play the Chiefs, until they play the Chargers, until they play the Raiders, the Broncos might win some games.
They don't play. They play the Steelers next in 2 weeks. It looks like. And next week, and they lost today.
They lost today.
Yeah, and the Broncos play the Ravens next week, so they could run into some trouble. But we're in the mix. Who would have thought Pat Mahomes going to be 1-2? Mr. September is what I've been hearing, and he's 1-2. So I don't know. That might be Justin Herbert now. We'll see.
We'll see. And the other thing, they're making a big deal about the head coach going to get some historic victory, Andy Reid, and they denied whatever that milestone was going to be. What is it going to get the most wins, or I don't know?
Yeah, I thought I heard and it might have been Pat Mahomes' 100th win. I hate the Chiefs. I hate Pat Mahomes. I just cannot stand the guy. The only saving grace over there on the Chiefs to me is Andy Reid. I am a fan of him for some reason. I'm not angry at. I don't hate him like I hate some other people with the Chiefs, but still happy to deny them anything anytime, because all they do is get it from the fans and from the media, and they just jock the Chiefs so hard, and it's really good to just kind of say, hey, like, things might be changing here. So Willie, what's before we get out of here, any final thoughts on the game?
I thought that the coach was very, very decisive in going for those plays on fourth down. I think that's really refreshing.
Confident play calling.
Yeah, I don't think he was necessarily gambling as much as he was pretty confident in the play call, and also his players' abilities to execute. So I saw that as being a plus. They just have to clean up some of that other stuff, with the motion penalties. Maybe they should quit doing so much of those motion plays. Try something else. The guy getting in the set position just a split second before they snap the ball. And maybe part of it's the quarterback too. Maybe he has to wait just a second more. But I was thinking the whole point of that motion is to have the guy go down just exactly almost or a split second before the play goes off, not like way in advance, because that seems to defeat the whole purpose of having the guy in motion and tries to deceive the defense. So,
I think one of those plays they were trying to figure out what to even do. I think they were scrambling just to get the play off, and but the other time, just too much going on, trying to kind of get that Sean McVay, just crazy kind of offensive stuff going there, and just play ball. We got a guy that can throw, got a guy that can run. We actually have a good defense. O-line's better, receivers are better. It all sounds great to me, but we'll see, Willie.
Let's keep it rolling next week. Let's go to 3-1. All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right, see you, Willie.
Bye.